Loki Season 2 is coming out this October 6th. It looks like another 6-episode season with respectable episode runtimes. None of this 28-minute bullshit. Loki being my favorite thing Marvel Studios has put out on Disney Plus, and I'm sure a lot of other people's favorites, aka the best Marvel Disney Plus show. Again, just facts here, people, all based in science, of course. But is that enough for people to trust Disney Plus shows again? To put your faith in a show that will run like a month and a half? A lot of people are excited, just not as many as I'm sure there used to be. You know, it's no secret that the Disney Plus Marvel TV shows have been met with mixed receptions. As well, on the movie side, people have, for the most part, been losing interest and faith in the MCU. The last two shows, besides Secret Invasion, of course, were She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel, which I quite enjoyed the leads of the show, but not the actual stories or plots. As big of a fan as I am of the MCU, and I'm still looking forward to quite a few outings, the thought of putting my faith in another show, especially after Secret Invasion, which I apologize, players, I have no desire to speak on that show, especially after that ending. It's just hard to do that. It's even got me worried for Daredevil Born Again, okay? For whatever reason, and for the most part, they never really seem to stick the landing. The endings feel off, and just overall, the shows become lackluster. But the one show I feel did an amazing job throughout was Loki. There was not only a good plot-driven story, but it had a lot of great character-focused moments that drove the story as well, which I feel is the recipe for a satiating experience. It's one thing when a movie is bad, but for a show that you end up investing weeks in ends up being bad, that's like torture, okay? Pretty much the opposite of the cock and ball variety, which I'm sure all of you players are familiar with, of course, but you get the gist. Nobody likes to have their time wasted. Loki Season 1, however, didn't feel like a 6-hour movie. It felt episodic with something interesting and exciting and something actually developing by the end of each episode. It showed us a character we've known and seen for so long in a different light and explored deeper what that character's motivations were. Besides for the past decade being a fan favorite, much thanks to the awesome Tom Hiddleston, throughout the show we got to explore a very eclectic world, even for the MCU. I don't know what you would even describe the TVA as. Like, is it like liminal mixed with like weird core or time core or job core? Well, that's where you go if you really need a job, but it's just a very cool setting most of the show takes place in that leaves you with wonder and intrigue, along with most of the set pieces in the show just being beautiful, and it ends with paying off the seeds of romance planted between Loki and his alternate version of himself, Sylvie. Also, the ending affecting the timeline by killing He Who Remains within the show, but that also having ramifications for the rest of the MCU. You know, it was a solid plot and story. It was enjoyable, exciting. It had compelling antagonists in, you know, the TVA, Ravonna Renslayer, and He Who Remains. It respected the canon and the overall story of the MCU. It didn't step on anybody's toes, really. Great visuals, solid Easter eggs and cameos that didn't, you know, beat us over the head with, here you go, dipshit. We know you like when this type of thing happens. I bet your mouth just got real wide and you stood up out of your seat to scream, because that's what we made this moment for, you know? None of that, okay? And most importantly, it was emotional. So all of this led to an extremely satiating TV experience, and now with Season 2 slowly approaching, I imagine they will try to provide that experience again. Katie Heron, the director of the first season, is not returning, which is a little sad, but they do have two directors who previously directed Moon Knight episode 2 and 4, which were pretty solid episodes of that series in my opinion. They still have the same head writer, so depending on how those directors pick up where Katie left off and translate what's on that paper to the screen, we'll see which way or how this season will go. It looks like Loki is slipping through time here. They're exploring Victor Timely, the variant of Kang, who's basically gets his ass whooped so bad he goes back in time to like 1901 to become the mayor of his own town. He creates Chronopolis, which exists adjacent to the timeline, so he could spend all of his time plotting like a true player hater and be unaffected by time and basically be responsible for the age of heroes and the technology that most heroes would then utilize and have ultimate control over them by having control over their machines and technology. You can read all about it in Avengers Annual 21 from 1992, and it looks like Zaniac will be a key player, as in the comics, specifically Thor 319 was Zaniac's first appearance. He was basically this actor that was was playing this monster in a B movie, and he shared a lot of similarities with the monster story, and after an explosion disassociated him with his true identity, and he became the Zaniac. Okay, no, that's not a combo at Kane's, but I want to bring that up at the next Kane's meeting that I attend. Eventually, he got his ass whooped by Thor, and it isn't until later on in issue 371 and 372 that we find out that the Zaniac is like this actual entity that corrupts people and makes them want to kill pretties, okay? Justice Peace, which is a TVA agent from the comics, comes back in time to basically kill the Zaniac before in the future it can start like a World War III scenario. Crazy stuff, but I imagine we might explore something where this guy hasn't become the Zaniac yet, but the TVA wants to kill him for what he might do. This might be the question they explore this season about, you know, killing someone before they do something bad. There's a famous version of this scenario that everyone has probably heard, but it could be interesting to see what they do with it. It looks like they'll explore the relationship with Kang and Ravonna Renslayer and just shed more light on who these characters are, and, you know, it'll give us more context for, you know, who the Kang we saw in Ant-Man Quantumania was, and I bet Chronopolis will even be established by the end of the season. It looks like they'll be asking Kang for some assistance to mend the sacred timeline, which this whole scene just looks so badass. From what we've seen in the trailers, it still looks like amazingly shot. Otherwise, I think it's safe to say Loki will be solid, and worst case scenario, it'll still absolutely shit on the dumpster fire abomination that is Secret Invasion. But truthfully, the news about Echo performing bad, no news on Spider-Man freshman year, okay, and way too many name changes to the show, all has me a bit unenthusiastic about MCU television. But Loki actually does give me faith that it's possible for Marvel to actually do good things with their Disney Plus series. The special presentations have been going off, but the actual TV shows that we invest so much time in have to be good. They have to be satiating. We can't just feel like we wasted all of our time for just like a shitty ending. So hopefully they learn from their mistakes and start doing so. But that's just my opinion, players. This is really the only thing that's getting me going nowadays, and I really can't wait for October 6th. So let me know your thoughts on Loki season 2, whether you're excited or not, or have just completely lost faith in Marvel TV. Let me know. But that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope all of you guys are well, and we'll see you in the next one.